thought find gap, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She is energy healer, channel best-selling author, Grammy-considered artist, and renowned metaphysical teacher. None other than Dr. Gretta Chamberlain. Welcome, Dr. Greta on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be with you and your audience today. Um, I started my journey uh, with when I was a child. I realized that I had certain gifts and I could do things. And my mother was very protective of me in that she said, don't discuss what you do or what you capable of with other people. So I learned to be very secretive of it. And she also added that people might think that you're very strange if you talk to them and tell them some of these things. So with that statement came a little bit of fear. So therefore, I was quiet. I was a quiet child growing up, anyway. But one of the things that I was able to do was I knew when people were coming to make their transition. Like there was a man on our block, Mr. Lawrence, and we as children loved him. We would go
Mm-hmm.
down and play in front of his house, and he would tell us stories, and everybody on the block loved Mr. Lawrence. And one day I woke up and I told my mom, I told her, I said, Mr. Lawrence is coming to make his transition. Although I didn't use that word at that time, I used the word die because I didn't know any better then.
Mm-hmm.
So in about 2 days, he passed. So that was my first understanding that I could do those things. And we lived in my great grandfather's house. So it was an old Victorian house in Chicago where I live. And I used to hear my name being called, like Greta, Greta. But I would only hear it when I would be going up the steps or down the steps. And
Mm.
in old Victorian houses, you have this long staircase. So I'd always start off if I was going up. I said I would run real fast
Fast.
get up to the top so that they couldn't catch me. But that never worked. So I never
Mm-hmm.
did. They kept calling me Greta, Greta until I moved from there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first beginning of me recognizing. Uh, when I talk to people, when I facilitate for people, they tell me I have gifts, and I tell them, I said, no, you don't have any gifts, because gifts are things that you have. That I mean, that things, gifts are things that you do not have, and somebody's giving it to you. I said, in
Mm-hmm.
this case, everyone that is on this earth has psychic abilities. All of us are psychic, and we all have the same abilities. So, what happens is that based on the lessons that we're going to learn, um, we decide what psychic abilities we're going to activate. So, it's a decision we make, but all of us have the same gifts, but we choose which ones that we
Mm.
like: clairvoyance, clairaudience, that type of thing. Mhm.
Dr. Greta, in your experience, how can a childhood sensitivity like feeling overwhelmed in crowds or absorbing other emotions be the early unrefined from healing gift like? clairsentience?
Um, are you saying that, are you asking me what should a child do if they find that they've activated these abilities?
Yes, please.
Hmm. You know, sometimes children are afraid of these things because they don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I used to teach school, so I was a school teacher as well. And I would always share with the children, especially the older ones, like in middle school. I would share with them some of my experiences. And you'd be surprised how many psychic experiences children have. They have they have a lot of them, and because the kids would just talk to me and say, "Oh," one young lady I remember, uh, she said, "I need to talk to you," and I said, "Okay." She said, "My family is sending me to I think a psychiatrist or something like that." I said, "Well, why are they sending you to a psychiatrist?" And she said, "Because I can tell them that things are coming to happen and they happen. So they think her family thought something was wrong with her because she had that ability. So the advice I gave her was the same advice that my mother gave me. I said, stop telling them those things. And then they're just going to leave you alone. They think, oh, you're fine. She's recovered. You know, she's not insane. She's not crazy, that type of thing. So, uh, children, they're very delicate. And sometimes the children are more psychic than their parents. So then there can be a conflict. I had a young lady when I was studying clinical psych, and I had to evaluate her. And one of the things that they had said was that she was schizophrenic. And so I had to make a house visit. So I went, and the mother was so afraid of her. I said, well, explain to me what's happening. And it was just that her daughter was able to see things in other realities. So they thought that she was insane. And so at the house, um, I the young lady was with me and her mother, of course, and I said, "Oh, there's something right over there," and she said, "Yes." She said, "That's right, Greta. She described it or I described it to her." So when the mother then knew that I had the ability to do the same thing her daughter could do, then she was able to accept her daughter's gifts and not to be afraid of them. Or because she was thinking that the daughter might hurt her physically. I said, no, she's not going to do that, you know. So, so when a lot of times when you're in those classes or studying, I said in one of my classes, I said, we are so quick to say that somebody is um, somebody is insane because of their abilities, and we want to say that they're schizophrenic. Mhm. Yeah.
So, Dr. Greta, how did you uh, notice that you have gift? What age are you?
Oh, I must have been around 7 years old. 7 years old was when I started seeing. When I gave you the example of Mr. Lawrence, I was around 7. Yeah. And then I could see things. Um, they would escalate. I would project I had an experience too of projection. My family, my great aunts were going to a funeral, and they were taking care of me at that time. They were babysitting for my mother because she was at work. And they said, well, we're going to leave you here because I was old enough to be left. But I really wanted to go. And they said, Greta, you cannot go to this funeral. We don't want you to go to the funeral. You just stay here. But I really wanted to go with my great aunts. So I projected myself into the limousine that they were in on their way to the cemetery to bury the body. And I was sitting between them, and we ran over, there was a big snake. And the driver said, "Oh, we're running over a snake." It was a snake in the cemetery. And I was so amazed by that. That, oh, there was a snake in the cemetery. So we went through, they buried the body. My aunts got back in the car. We came back. Okay, well, of course, they never saw me. So when they came home, I was sitting on the couch and I said, "Wow, that was really something." And they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I was with you." They said, "No, you weren't." I said, "Yes, I was." I said, "We ran over a big snake in the car." And I described everything. I described the cemetery and everything. Of course, now we could say I was doing remote viewing. I had transferred myself there psychically, but um, so they just dismissed it. They said, "You were not there, Greta. You were not there." And I, of course, being a child, I kept saying, "Yes, I was." And I was sitting in between the two of So that was another instance, of even my family trying to accept the psychic abilities that I had activated. Yeah. And there were many other instances as well that I could keep going on and on. Now, I'm an energy, I assist people. I'm an energy transformational specialist, and that's the term for it. And I assist people who have died I assist them in making their move to the transitional portal. Some people are afraid to go, so I escort them there myself. I tell them it's all right. We can go. I'll take you. And that's one of the things I do. But that's on a one-on-one. I was given the energy channel because I had to transport about 3,000 people. So that was the first time I had ever started to work with a large group of people and move them to what I call the transitional portal, or what people call heaven or nirvana. So the energy channel is just a box. And I was given the task of working in Iraq and during that war there. And I put up the energy channels, 5 of them, in fact. And one of them was in Baghdad, and the others were strewn around in various other places. So the energy channel attracts people who have made their transition into them and keeps them safe and from being picked up, because they can be kidnapped um, by other beings that we don't see unless you can see into the other reality. Yeah. So does that help? I can't hear you at this point.
So, Dr. Greta, how did your formal education and training in naturopathic medicine interact with your intuitive development?
Um, that came about because um, I was studying clinical psychology. I was working on a doctorate in clinical psychology. And I did that for 5 years. And I felt that a lot of it didn't necessarily fit me. So therefore, I went to, I didn't know what to do. I was thinking about becoming a transpersonal psychologist. So I started looking at that, and I would lose so many of my credits, and I didn't want to do that either. So I just laid down when I'm not sure about something. I ask the question and I go lay down. And I know when I wake up, I'm going to get the answer. So I laid down and I said, "Where am I supposed to be?" And when I woke up, I was given the answer, and that was naturopathic medicine. So the 2 days later, I went to the school, filled out an application, and was interviewed by the president of the school. And I was thinking I was getting ready to go back home. You know, they were going to evaluate me and see if I was worthy to be there. And so he just told me, he said, when I was getting ready to leave, he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going home." And he said, "Oh, no, you're going to class." So I wound up going to class. And my first class I ever had there was microbiology. So that's how I got to naturopathic medicine. But I had to go there because it's more it's a more open modality. And the teachers that were there were more open for the things that I do than the people were in clinical psychology. So I felt very comfortable there, and so that's how I got to naturopathic medicine. Now I know I think you're going to ask me, what is naturopathic medicine? It's the study of the bones of the body. It deals with alleviation of pain. Um, Oakley Smith was the founder of it. He was a chiropractor. So the positions that we use are very more calming. They're not as aggressive as the chiropractor's moves. So he developed some different postures that we could use with our patients. And but I'm non-practicing at this point, and I'm more concerned with the energy work that I do with people.
Interesting, Dr. Greta. So you mentioned having seven spiritual beings guide you or guiding you. How did the first distinguish between your own inner voice, your intuition, and the voice of the impression of these distinct guides?
Now, that's an interesting question because when I first realized that they were with me, I kind of saw them and me. I saw a separation between the two of us. But now I don't see a separation. I see us as one, that I'm not ever separate from them, nor are they separate from me. Sometimes, if they want to tell me something that's extremely important, they don't want me to miss it, then I'm going to hear them in a voice, a human voice, speaking English to me, and they will say that. I will hear them tell me what they want me to to hear. Other than that, it's mainly intuitive. I'm going to
Mhm.
intuit. But you know, I have a short on social media that talks about channeling. And I said in the short, I tell people everybody channels. Everybody does. Because what is channeling but intuition, intuiting? Because we all have guides that walk this earth with us to assist us in our creations of reality all the time. So I said, everybody's a channeler. Everybody, including,
Everybody, indeed, including me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, including you.
So, Dr. Greta, with the great sensitivity comes with the risk of taking no other's pain. What is your hardest lesson in learning to set boundaries, both energetically or interpersonally, as your gift grew?
One of the things, Daniel, is that I learned not that I don't need to set boundaries, and I'll tell you why. Boundaries are means that I may be afraid of something. That's how I see a boundary, as being afraid, having fear. You know, you don't want to deal with something or to deal with someone, so therefore you set up a boundary for that person. But so and the other reason why that it's not necessary for me to set up a boundary is because I recognize that I create my own reality, and I can create any reality that I want to experience. Sometimes I'll get realities that I don't want to experience. That comes by way of my connection with my unconscious. So that is uh, one thing about that. That's how I feel about that. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting, Dr. Greta. So, your work now involves guiding others. What are the most common point of confusion or fear that energy physics or psychic, sorry, a healers bring you to?
What is a fear, Daniel?
Mm, yes, fear
Of
that energy psychic and healers bring to you.
um, well, people come to me from all walks of life, from various cultures. I deal with people, I've dealt with individuals in South America, Mexico, um, England, New Zealand, and the United States, United Kingdom. They come to me from various walks of life, like I said, and they come with different challenges, because I don't use the word problem because I see, I call them challenges. That means that we can uh, overcome, we're going to hop over it instead of, because a problem, you can get consumed in the problem. And so I just say it's a challenge. It's a challenge that we have posed to ourselves to clear up, get rid of, or turn it into something else that we want. Yeah. So it's all about creation of reality. And everybody creates reality at every moment. Hmm.
Mhm. Definitely every moment. And Dr. Greta, looking at the current landscape, what do you think there is seems to be collective psychic awakening happening now? And what do healers play in this shift?
Um, there's so many different types of healers and so many different types of modalities. Um, if someone is seeking the assistance or the support from a person like that, then they're going to seek out the person that's going to meet their needs. Like for me, sometimes it's challenging to do the facilitation work because we go into depth of why did you create this? Why did you create to have cancer? Like we've worked with people who have had various types of cancers. The realm of beings that walks with me, it's the guide for the assistants. I follow and the other people that are working or learning to be facilitators who are being trained by me. They also work with the realm of beings as well. So we have to listen what's good for this person, because every facilitation that we do is um, is tailored specifically for the person, because everybody's different. So, and not only are there energy healers, but allopathic healers. Uh, for instance, once I experienced congestive heart failure. When I experienced congestive heart failure, I used all kinds of modalities to assist me. I used Chinese medicine. I had a doctor who did Chinese medicine. I had an allopathic doctor, cardiologist. I had, um, and I did the energy work also on myself. I remember going to the health food store and saying, "Look, I'm experiencing congestive heart failure. What do you have that? What supplements do you have that can help me with that?" So I used a myriad of expressions of healing, a myriad, not just one thing. And I worked and worked with myself, and I healed myself, so I don't have congestive heart failure anymore. Because I had to make a decision, Daniel. I saw on the television one night on the news, it said this famous basketball player died on the court from congestive heart failure. And when I saw that, I said to myself, I'm not going, I'm not dying like that. I'm not going like that. I refuse to do it. So I found all kinds of ways, like I said, to heal myself. See, there are no really, people call themselves healer, that they're healers. That means that you heal. But see, nobody heals. The person that you are working on is healing themselves. We don't
Hmm.
heal. I don't profess to heal anybody. I support you in your healing, but I'm not going to heal you. You have to heal yourself.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting, Dr. Greta. So to sum up our discussion for this interview, finally, for the listeners who suspect they have intuitive gift but feels unsure or afraid, what is the first safest step you recommend to take to explore that part of themselves?
I think the first thing, it depends on how deep they want to go. For me, I just started it off reading books, reading about existence. I wasn't one to read self help books. I felt that that was just not my path. I needed to learn. I was curious. I wanted to know, how did we get here? Why am I here? So I started reading. I read all the volumes of Alice Bailey. I took in information from Blavatsky. Some of the people that we would consider old, like back in the 1920s, I was reading books that had been written back then so that I could understand. And then I met a woman called Dr. Irene Hickman. She was a osteopathic medical doctor, And she is known for showing people that you don't have to have a person directly in front of you, that you can, that person can be anywhere in the world and you can still work on them. So that opened up the world to me, not just somebody that was laying on a table that I was working on. So she was a mentor of mine, but I have very many. I have a spiritual mothers that I have. Both of them are now gone. Three of them are gone now, but they influenced my life and how I approach this whole healing process. So now, to answer your question, I would suggest for people to read as much as they possibly can and learn about existence so that you can understand how are you healing? What are the parts of the body that you are healing? Because there's more to this physical body than what we see. And then if they want to get into uh, doing remote viewing or doing Reiki or other modalities, then get with a person who can teach you. I wouldn't suggest going out there by yourself and attempting things because there are things in other realities that you will be privy to that you're not going to be used to and you're not going to know how to deal with it. So I highly suggest that anyone in your audience who's thinking about doing anything like this is to find a mentor to assist them and to read.
To read, indeed. And Dr. Greta, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Yes, so can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your book, your music, or anything you want to promote on Abstract Essay?
Oh, thank you. I really would like to promote our album In Silence. And they can find that on YouTube. They can also find it on any musical platform such as Spotify and Apple. And I think they'll enjoy it. Really a strong meditative piece.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Greta because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering music like this to rise. So, Dr. Greta, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
Modicon people, see you soon.